Welcome guys to this video recording. This is Automation Gizmo YouTube channel, and in this video we'll be looking at how to set up S7 PLC, which is in this one is 1500 as Modbus TCP server. Okay, so in this video you're going to learn how to use transfer data from Modbus compliant TCP client to Siemens, which is acting as a Modbus TCP server, and also we're going to be using SPLC Sim Advanced, which is for simulating your mobile devices, and also for simulating your PLC, which is your S7 PLCs. So you can simulate Modbus unlike the ordinary PLC Sim. So now we'll get started. First thing I did was to create the PLC, which is the IP is 192.168.0.10. So, and then as you can see, the PLC has already started. So another thing is I'll bring in the Modbus TCP server block. Disconnect. So what do I have to disconnect it? I'll just put a memory marker for disconnect. Modbus holding register. What do I want to use as my holding register? So I'll create a new data block, and call data. It will be an array of integers, 150 of integers. Okay, so for data block, data now. So for NDRO, which is like a done bit, DRO error status, have NDRO, DRO. So I created it in the internal parameters of the block. So DRO error status. So I also like to hold my error information, my status information on the positive trigger of error. So such that I can always see what is the status of my block. So now connect. What's the connection parameters? What's the connection parameters? So I'll also create another DB for connection. I call it param, and parameters, and the data type is tcorn underscore IP underscore v4. In my previous tutorial on setting up S7 PLC as Modbus client, I explained a lot about this, and also in this particular video's description, you see a link to an article on Modbus where you can read up and get more understanding about Modbus. So interface ID, what is my interface ID? Which is hardware identifier. So come to the PLC, double click on this, and you see system constant. So this is the hardware identifier of my Ethernet port, my Profinet port. So this is local Profinet interface, and the hardware identifier is 64. So I'll put 64. Then what's the ID? What ID will Siemens use to recognize this Modbus communication? So I'm going to use 5. What's the connection type? 11 is TCP IP, 19 is UDP. 11 is OB. OB is hexadecimal for 11. So this is TCP and I'll leave it. Now active established. Do I want an active or a passive connection? This is Modbus as server. So I'll leave it as passive. So false. Remote address. What is the remote address? Do I need to put anything here? No, so this is server, so I don't need to put anything in remote address. I just know that it is open. And then what is my local port? My local port is port 502. Now, my local port of this PLC is 502. For remote address, I don't need to put anything. So any PLC can communicate to this server. Okay, so here I will use, I'll put in the parameters. Parameters, none. Okay, then I want to compile. Okay, I want to compile and download. Okay, now I'm going to be using a Modbus simulator as the client software. So this could be a PLC device. I'm going to use Modbus pool as the simulator. So here I will set up Modbus. I'm going to be read the right definition. I'm reading holding registers. Now I'm going to be reading holding registers, which is the PLC I want to read. So I want to read from 0 to 15 holding registers. And then the connection is TCP. The IP address of the server is 192.168.0.10. The server port is 502. Okay, so now it's connected. So what I want to do is I want to put in values in my data block and also read it from the Modbus pool simulator software. So I'm going to put in some values, put in 20, put in 15, put in 5, 899, 3, 2. So remember we're reading only 15 now. So let's check out Modbus pool software, the client software, if we're getting these values. So we can see we are getting the same values. So Siemens is acting as Modbus TCP server, and this is Modbus TCP client. So I'm reading from it. So another thing I want to do is I want to write from here to Siemens. So can let's load our start values and let's attempt to write. So I'm writing, and so I'm getting the values. I'm writing from the simulator software. I'm getting it in Siemens tier portal. So S7 1511 is server, and then I'm using mobile simulator to write and also read from it. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and share.